Hello everyone and welcome to the Magical Readathon TBR, which is part 3 of my readathons. But let's get into this. So this part of the TBR, this part 3, is for the Magical Readathon, which is hosted by G from Book Roast. I'll have her channel, the announcement video, and the Twitter page for the readathon in the description box. So we're going on the Novice Path to get to the Magical College or University, whatever word you're using, called the Orilium. And from everything that I've seen with G, which the announcement video and stuff like that, she has put a ton of work into this and has done just a fantastic job. I mean, this whole world and stuff. So there are 7 prompts on the Novice Path. You only have to complete 2 prompts to be successful on the path. There's also some prompts that I would like to fulfill that would help me build my character for the Magical Readathon that will take place in the future whenever G announces that. So basically, I'm doing 10 prompts for this. I would love to complete all 7 prompts plus the 3 prompts for the character, which the ones for the character, you have all year to do those. So no pressure on those, but the ones for the Novice Path, I would love to complete. Don't know if I will, but I'm being ambitious and going to do it. So, and let me hold them up. So, these are the books. Heavy stack. So, okay, let's get into it. I've got the prompts written down. Prompt number 1 is the Novice Path. Read a book with the map. Now, most fantasies or epic or high fantasies, I don't know, there's a lot of books that will have maps. I had to go through a lot of books to find one. This book is going to be, that I'm going with, is The Merciful Crow, and this is by Margaret, Owen. This was huge a while ago, and I never read it. Let's see. Fie abides by one rule. Look after your own. As the future chieftain of a shunned caste of mercy killers, she relies on her wits and bone magic, drawn from the teeth of dead witches, to protect her band. The crows take more abuse than coin, so when they're called to collect the royal dead, Fie hopes they'll find the payment of a lifetime. Now, I got this one in a book box because it has a art thing and a letter from the author. I don't remember what book box this was because this is a bit ago. But taking the letter from the author out, so you can see it has a map. So, going with this one, I think they collect. I mean, it did say that they collect teeth. Oh, and it's got beautiful art there. Anyway, and it's in a caste system, which I don't know if everything's by birds but I think the lowest caste are the crows. So we'll see. So that's what I'm hoping to read for that prompt. Prompt number 2 is Ashtorn Tree, a book that keeps tempting you. Now this one, I really want to finish this series, and this is the final book. It's actually one whole book that was divided into 3 parts. At least according to the little description on the thing. So this one, we're following a band of characters as they travel from one place to another to destroy basically an evil ring. Can you tell what book that was? The Return of the King or the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But it does say the Lord of the Rings part 3. Plus, when you open it, this book starts on page 731. So it's a huge book, but it's divided into 3 parts. So this part is the Return of the King, and they're going to Mordor to try and get rid of the ring. I hope Gollum is in this. Gollum is my favorite character so far. He made more of an appearance in book 2. I hope he's in this one more. So, but yeah. So part 3 of The Lord of the Rings, so aka The Return of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, prompt number 3, The Mist of Solitude. Read a standalone. So this one is actually one that's going to be on my Becca's Bookopoly TBR for Steal a Book because this is also on someone else's prompt. But for this one, which is to read a standalone, I am going with Daisy Jones and the Sixth by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I know a lot of people love this. I did not care for Malibu Rising, but I think that's because of the cheating and the cheating or affair plot. I really don't like that. Sometimes I can get over it, but when that's one of the main things of the book, I don't like that. So that really pulled the book down for me. So I'm hoping this one's better. But I just know that Daisy Jones, people start to notice her voice, and she's coming of age in LA in the late 60s, and I think she follows a band or somehow gets attached to this band. So yeah, so I'm going to read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Alrighty, prompt number 4 is Ruin of the Skye. Read a book featuring ghosts, haunted house, or other supernatural element. Now, I'm not sure this book is paranormal. It's gothic and it's atmospheric as far as this author, I just like writes stuff that take place along Lake Erie. Usually it's shrouded in mist and it's gothic and it's very atmospheric and you have hauntings. One book that she wrote even had a possession by an evil spirit and I loved it. But I'm going to be reading The Haunting of Bryn Wilder, and this is by Wendy Webb. I love this author. I have this one and one other book by this author to read, and then I will have read all of her works, and I love it. So this one, it says, after a devastating loss, Bryn Wilder escapes to Wharton, a tourist town on Lake Superior. So it's Lake Superior, Erie, that area. Anyway, this character's going to reset. Checking into a quaint boarding house for the summer, she hopes to put her life into perspective. In her fellow lodgers, she finds a friendly company of strangers. The frail Alice, cared for by a married couple with a heartbreaking story of their own, Luann, an eccentric and lovable owner of the inn, and Dominic, an unsettlingly handsome man inked from head to toe in mesmerizing tattoos. But in this inviting refuge, where a century of souls has passed, a mystery begins to swirl. Alice knows things about Bryn, about all of them, that she shouldn't. Bad dreams and night whispers lure Bryn to a shuttered room at the end of the hall, a room still heavy with a recent death. And now she's become irresistibly drawn to Dominic, even in the shadows of rumors that wherever he goes, suspicious death follows. Yes, please. I just love her writing, and so I'm really excited for this one. Okay, the next prompt, number 5, yes, is Obsidian Falls. Read a thriller or mystery book. Love it. So I decided to go with The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. Because I don't really read a lot of synopsises, so it's hard for me to tell you what the book is about, so I can't really even tell you what this one is about. This is a fairly new release, and this one is actually a copy that I won from Goodreads, and this is the Advanced Readers Edition. This came out, it says on sale on April 13th, 2021, so I really need to get to this one. It says, everyone has a dark side. I'm trying to see if there is... Oh, meet Rose, the responsible sister with a home, a husband, and a fierce desire to become a mother. Meet Fern, the introverted librarian who avoids social interaction as much as possible. They are as close as two sisters can be, but they couldn't be more different. What are they hiding from each other? So, there you go. Moving on. Okay, number 6 is Tower of Rumination. Read a 5-star prediction. Okay, now here's the thing. I don't like doing 5-star predictions. I dropped my notebook. Because I feel like that sets people up for disappointment when the book is not a 5-star. I just say, I'm going to like this. I think I'm going to like this book, and that tends to be the case more, and I'm not as disappointed. So personally, I don't like the 5-star predictions, but I'll just go with it. I'm going to be reading a novella for this one. Now, Rise by Mira Grant. This is a collection of novellas for the Newsflesh series, and there's 4 books in this. I read the first one. It takes place in an alternate America where technology and medicine have advanced so much that people don't get sick anymore. So not even a cold. However, when people get this certain virus, I guess is the best way to describe it, they become a zombie. And then it passes by, basically by saliva, I think, or some of their bodily fluid. So if you're bit, you're spit on, you're scratched, I don't know. Anyway, you will turn into a zombie, and it's a slower process, and you can actually see the person's brain disintegrate from being a normal human into a zombie in the first book. So this one's a collection of novellas. The first one in this that I'll be reading is Countdown, and it's like 71 pages. So out of this whole book, yeah. The other novellas, I believe, just take place after the third book, and then you have the fourth book. So a couple of novellas. I'm only reading novella number 0.5, which takes place before the first book in the Newsflesh series. So, and for those of you who don't know, Mira Grant is a pen name for Seanan McGuire. So if you like books by Seanan McGuire, you may like, especially if you like zombies, apocalyptic, dystopian, you may like this one. So Mira Grant is the pen name for Seanan McGuire. Okay, and the final prompt for the Novice Path to get to the university is Orilium Academy Arc. So we're at the Arc, we're at the entrance for the school, and the prompt for this one is a book with a school setting. So this one I'm going with a middle grade, and that is Dork Diaries. This particular one is number 2 in the series. There's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 possibly in the series. 12 or 13. Because I don't know if one of them's like, I don't know, just it's not part of the series, but it is. I don't. Anyway. So it says Dork Diaries, Tales from a Not So Popular Party Girl is the title of this one. This is by Rachel Renee Russell, and I mean, she's in middle school, and it takes place in school, and you've got drawings or illustrations in here. It's written in diary format of what her life is like with her family, with her friends, in school. So I'm using that as this prompt, and it's a very, very quick read because of the illustrations and it being a middle grade. It's very quick, and I really enjoyed the first one, so I look forward to continuing that. Okay, so those are the prompts for the Novice Path. I hope to get to all 7 of those. Don't know if it will happen, but I'm going to try my hardest. Okay, so let's move on. So these next 3 books are character building books. Again, I have like a year to read these, so if I don't get to these within the next 2 months, that's perfectly fine. I'll just slowly draw it out throughout the rest of the year. So, but these are the ones I selected for my character. Now, the first one is where you're going to select your character's background. I chose to have the background for my character as a wilding, and this is to read a book largely set in a forest or outside. So this one I am going with, to complete my collection, I only have the 4 by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I have not read this one, and that is The Hobbit. So, the last part of the Lord of the Rings trilogy I want to get to for the Novice Path, and then I want to read this one, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't really know much about this one. I've never read it. I've wanted to, but I've been so intimidated by it growing up. I know of people who have loved it, but I've just been scared to death of it, and just haven't ever picked it up. So it says Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit who enjoys a comfortable, unambitious life, rarely traveling any farther than his pantry or cellar. But his contentment is disturbed when the wizard Gandalf and a company of dwarves arrive on his doorstep one day to whisk him away on an adventure, hence being outdoors. Let's see, it says they have launched a plot to raid the treasure hoard guarded by Smaug the Magnificent, a large and very dangerous dragon. Bilbo reluctantly joins their quest, unaware that on his journey to the Lonely Mountain, he will encounter both a magic ring and a frightening creature known as Gollum. So this sounds like kind of like a prequel to The Lord of the Rings, I'm guessing, is what it's sounding like from the description. So I really should have probably read this first, but I'll be reading it to build my characters. So My character, the background for my character will be a wildling. Okay, the second prompt to build a character is to determine the province your character will be from. I want my character to come from the Dark Meadow. So a wildling from the Dark Meadow. So the Dark Meadow prompt is to read a dark academia. Now, I have looked this up. Well, I've heard it's a dark academia, and I looked it up and confirmed, yes, it is a dark academia. I do like dark academia, so I'm really excited to get to this one. It is a chunk. It is, how many pages? 559 pages, it looks like. But that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I got this one when I was doing Book of the Month. I stopped doing Book of the Month because I've got to get through the books I own, but I really want to do Book of the Month again. I love it. So I don't remember what this is about. So it just says, I'm going to read the synopsis. It's only just this little bit here. It says, let's see, the first little paragraph is something about Donna Tartt. Okay, so it says, under the influence of their charismatic class professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, they slip gradually from obsession to corruption and betrayal, and at last inexorably into evil. Yeah. So I am looking forward to these darker books. This is definitely a good TBR in my opinion. I am really excited to get to these. Okay. The third and final prompt to build your character is to determine the heritage of your character. I want to be an Ilterarian. I probably said that wrong. Basically, it's a vampire. I love vampires, so I'm going to be a vampire in this world. So I'm going to be an Ilterarian who is a wildling from the Dark Meadow. Yes. Okay, so for the heritage, the prompt for my particular character is to read a book with the crow on the cover, or the title, or a book that has a red cover. Well, I don't really want to double up on a prompt because I'm trying to get through as many books as I can that I own. So I could have done the Merciful Crow for that, but I decided to go with a different one. And I'm going to read On the Edge of Gone. So as you can see, it's got a red cover, so it fits the prompt. This one, I have to read because I don't remember. It says it's January 29th of 2035. Now, I do remember the character is on the autism spectrum, so the character is autistic. So be aware of that. If you're looking to read more diversely, this might be a good option. So I haven't read it yet, so I don't know how true and how good of a representation it is. I won't know until I read it. So it says on January 29th, 2035, that's the day the comet is scheduled to hit. Denise and her mother and sister, Iris, have been assigned to a temporary shelter near their hometown of Amsterdam to wait out the blast. But Iris is nowhere to be found, and Denise is worried they won't reach the shelter in time. Then a last-minute encounter leads them to something better than a temporary shelter. A generation ship that's scheduled to leave Earth behind and colonize new worlds after the comet hits. But each passenger must have a practical skill to contribute. Since Denise is autistic, she fears that she'll never be allowed to stay. Can she obtain a spot before the ship takes flight? And when the future of the human race is at stake, whose lives matter most? I think this will be a little hard-hitting from what it sounds like, because it's whose lives matter most. You're really trying to pick someone's life over another. That's got to be a hard decision. And I can understand as an autistic person that you would think at times that you might not be enough. At least I have. Plenty of times. So we'll see. I do look forward to getting to this one. So it definitely fits because of the red cover. And autistic character. Yay! Bonus. So those are the 3 books for my character. So again, those ones I will spread out for the year if I don't get them done within the next 2 months. But there you go. So I will put the title of the books. If they are part of a series, I'll list the series name as well. And I will list the author for the books as well. So that you can go to whatever platform you want to search for the books if you want more information, or if you want to check them out from your local library, or whatever the case may be. That information will be in the description box. You will also find other social media platforms that I take part in. Goodreads. I have 2 Instagrams. I have a personal Instagram and a book Instagram. And then a Twitter page. And I'm not very active on the Twitter, but I'm trying to be more active. Still trying to figure things out of what to tweet and stuff. So there you go. Those are my other platforms. So all that information will be in the description box, as well as the information for the readathon regarding G, who did a fabulous job creating this. So I look forward to reading these books. Are you participating in the book? What are you most in the book? Are you participating in the readathon? What are you most excited to read for the month? Or what are you reading now? Just something, just whatever. And I'll talk to you guys later. So until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.